Hi everyone, welcome to InnoHEALTH Conference 2024. I am Anjali, your host today for InnoHEALTH Magazine podcast, and here I am with Mr. Ganesh Gopalan. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So, sir, actually, while I was researching, so I come to know that you are a co-founder and CEO of Gnani.ai. But this name, I want to know about this name because it is very confusing because it is pronounced as Gnani, but it is spelled as Gnani.
So we are basically an Indian company. So all those who know Sanskrit will know that the words that we use are called Gnani, right? And the way it's pronounced in Sanskrit is the way we are pronouncing it or the way we are spelling it. That's Gnani, right? And that's the basis of this company. So as you well know that Sanskrit is the mother of many languages, and the innovations that are possible, in the AI field, right? And especially in terms of speech recognition and a bunch of other things are due to the phonetic nature of the Sanskrit language, where what you speak, right, is what you write, which is very different from a language like English.
Yes.
So to cut that long story short, our inspiration comes, about knowledge. Gnani means knowledge, right? And we also like to call it Gnani if needed, because that's more like a Sanskritized version of this. And Gnani.ai is our company. That means the thirst of knowledge. And since we are in the AI field, we feel that's an appropriate name for our company.
Okay. So, sir, what's the most surprising way you have seen LLM makes changes in healthcare?
So we've been involved with. I would rather not use the word LLM, but I would like to use the word AI or generative AI, right? Because LLM is like one way of doing things, right? And we'll talk more later on, the work that we are doing with SLMs in particular, and so on and so forth, right? So one of the fantastic use cases that we have seen, which kind of surprised us as well, was the work that we are doing with, say for example, an experiment that we are doing on healthcare for improving maternal care.
Okay.
Right. So this is something that we are doing with as an intervention with bunch of villages in UP.
Okay.
Right. So what we are really doing is called the 1,000-day program. Right. What really so what the impact that we are trying to create is how can we improve nutrition, right, for mothers in the first 1,000 days. Right. So what this really means is during the pregnancy phase, the lactation phase, and the infant phase. Not only mothers but also the infants. How can we, improve the nutrition? Can an external intervention that coexists and works along with ASHA workers and Anganwadi workers, right? Can that create an impact and improve the lives of people? So I would never have thought that when I started this company, the work that we are doing, right, would have, such a, use case that has potential immense benefits for the country.
Okay. So, sir, what are some real world challenges you have seen while doing this project or while using AI in the healthcare? Because it is very, it has to be very reliable, no? So what are some real world challenges you have faced?
So I think that's a very good question, right? And I have to say that we work with healthcare both in India and the US market, right? In the AI field, we are fundamentally an AI company. We don't do anything else.
Okay.
So first and foremost with healthcare, you have to be very careful with the data.
Knowledge.
Right? Because this is data pertaining to the, often it is PII data, often it is data pertaining to the health of individuals, right?
Yes.
So the security and the sanctity of the data firstly becomes very important. The second thing that is very important is biases. So if you are training models, for this data, right, you have to be very, very careful. The reasons are simple, right?
Yes.
With, let's say, a commercial application, there could be some damage, but here you're really playing into the lives of people,
right.
the health of people,
Right.
right?
Right.
I'll give you a couple of examples. There was this, I read about this story where there was this, dentist, right, in the US, and they were working on a product, right, using, trying to find the, amount of pain that a patient can withstand, right, because that determines the anesthetic that they use with patients while doing dental treatment. So it appears that, and it's a very interesting article, and I'll point you to that article.
Okay.
What it really says that because the data on which they had trained the model was biased towards, a certain, I would say, race of people. What really happened is that it caused a problem when it was applied to the entire population, right? So really what this means is that first and foremost, security. Second is biases, right?
Right.
Third is hallucinations could be very dangerous, right? I mean, again, because of the delicate nature of what we are doing, right? You really don't want the bots to hallucinate, or if they do, you need to have a way to safeguard your models,
Right. Right.
right? Otherwise, you're going to end up with issues, right? So I think for a bunch of, there are obviously specific challenges to healthcare. I know that a lot of this also apply to some of the other sectors, but I think they particularly apply to healthcare. And you have to be really careful while you're training your models for this.
Yes, because it is very sensitive area, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about AI in healthcare, and how can we address them?
So I think AI is not a magic wand, right? It's not going to replace doctors overnight.
Right, right.
Okay, I think a lot of people have that misconception that AI is going to remove jobs everywhere, right? So I think, and AI is not something that's going to, solve the biggest problems, like solving the problems of, say, treating cancer overnight.
Right.
Right? Yes, it will play a role in all the things that we have spoken about before, but it's not going to solve those problems overnight.
Right, right.
Right? But where it will play a big part is definitely in acting as co-pilots in the next few years. What it really means is that it will act as an assist to various aspects of the healthcare industry. I mean, I can give you some of the examples that we work with.
Okay.
So first and foremost, we work with some of the top hospitals in the world, where we help them with simple things like booking a healthcare appointment.
Okay.
Right? So now, very often, all of us want to reach a doctor. We want to book an appointment, right? Several doctors won't see you without an appointment, right? But your receptionist is available 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So how do you book that appointment? So we offer a, AI product, on any channel. It could be text messaging, it could be voice messaging, it could be a voice bot on telephony lines, it could be a WhatsApp bot, which will help you book your appointments.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Could see whether that doctor is free at that time and book that appointments. Some of the other stuff that we help, and these are like the low-hanging fruit, right? Let's suppose a customer is getting treated, right? And the doctor has told the customer, hey, we take these tablets and go home and let me know of any issues or whatever. But the problem is the doctor really wants to know very often what the medicines have caused to the patient. Have they caused any side effects? So what we are also doing now is a voice bot, which will call the customers automatically at specified intervals, find out what their issues are, whether the treatment is going on successfully, whether there are any issues, so on and so forth, right? So a bunch of these things, I would say, are huge benefits that we are seeing. Any sort of data collection.
Okay.
So if you take a step back, even from away from even diagnostics and treatment, I'm not even going into those areas. right? If you take a step back, you have patients visiting hospitals, right? And you want to find out how well the treatment was given, right? Was the facilities at the hospital good enough? Was the doctor taking care of the patient? Was the patient actually, if it's a disabled patient, was it easy to get into the hospital, so on and so forth, right?
Right.
And so we have a bot that again calls customers or and answers questions for them, but also at the same time make sure that the experience was good, and then again forms a model to suggest to the, I would say, the healthcare community that these are the sort of things that you could have done better.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Again, moving on to more use cases like the basic or the first step of treatment, right? And this is something that we are working with a few institutions in the US, is before the doctor really sees you, there are some basic checks to be taken, and you would have typically seen a blood pressure monitor is done. A few basic questions are made to you on, what's your problem? What's how many days have you been having this problem, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Now, what this would do is that why not have the data collection move to an AI system, right?
Yeah.
May not be so it's relevant a lot, I would say, in the US, where again it saves time and also reduces the overall cost of healthcare, but applicable to every country as we speak.
Yeah.
Right? So we're not replacing the doctors, but a lot of the mundane tasks, right? Let's suppose an AI system collects this information. The advantage is that that's all digital, right? So this whole information can be analyzed later, right? And then maybe models developed on that later, and then leading to more insights over a period of time.
Yeah.
Right? So I think this whole concept of data collection is fantastic. Right?
Yeah.
In India, healthcare records are still not in place, right? And that's going to be a great opportunity. One of the reasons for that in India is also, do we have the right systems to do that? And for a country like India, it has to be voice in your own language.
Yeah.
Today, like we have the capability, for example, we are the leaders in voice AI of the world. So this is something that can be adopted to enable the healthcare record, which again would be a huge boon for the country.
Yeah.
So I mean, I covered a few areas. I'm sure there are lots more, and people working on thousands of more areas.
Yeah.
Some of them ahead of the curve, some of them behind the curve. But AI in healthcare has a huge role to play.
Yeah.
But going back to your original question, it's not a magic wand that's going to solve all the problems overnight.
Yeah, I agree. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for
Thank
your
you.
time. And
Thank you.
let's see.